It's a new year, so new year, new spark plugs. Let's change that quickly. Let's connect the battery. Let's plug that somewhere. So the problem with the Lexus IS250 changing the plugs is that this intake manifold is extended. So you can, as you can see, we can get to all the plugs on this side pretty easily because they are exposed. So we can take out the coils. We can take out one, two. This is cylinder 1, this is cylinder 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, this is 6. You can verify that, but that's the way it works. So one cylinder 1, 3 and 5 you can access easily and change the plugs as you like, but on this side the only plug you can access easily is cylinder 2. This is the only one that you don't need to take the manifold off for, but for you to access the rest of 4 and 6 you need to take this manifold off, because there's literally no way you are getting to all of that. It's not possible. So that's the hassle with changing plugs on the IS250, but we're gonna do it because we've done it a bunch of times and we know how this works. So in order: yellow left, black right. Yellow is left. You can get this manifold off. As you can see, we have the tools. You need Allen keys and you need size 5 precisely. Is it 5? Yeah, you need size 5 precisely, and you need something. I use this spanner as condemned, so I use this a lot to help with that. But yeah, you need size 5. Oh, that wasn't even so tight. That's crazy. Maybe I just loosened up from the heat. But yeah, pretty tight. So there's one here, there's one here, there is there's one in here, and then there's another one here. We can disconnect this. Yeah, so we've slacked most of those bolts. Next we're gonna get it 210s, 210 bolts. There's usually a 12 bolt here, but it's not present on this car. Last time it was fixed, it wasn't put back, definitely. So, but there's usually a 12 bolt here as well, so just for you to know, right somewhere here. So right down there. First with this, you disconnect this one. So this is what helps your brake function. As you can see, it's connected to the salvo they call it or something. But yeah, air helps with your braking. If this is not present, or if this is blocked and this is blocked, then you might have your braking will not be okay. But yeah, basically helps. And if this was disconnected, you have misfires because air will escape and not enter the engine. Alright, so I'm gonna tuck that somewhere. I'll get that this last bolt. There's usually another hose here. This is what comes from the what's the name of that thing? How could I have forgotten? PCV valve. Yeah, there's a hose to the PCV valve as well here. Here is like, this is a fuel line, and what this does is for cold starts. So when you start your car in the morning, this switch basically has a nozzle that goes into the intake that sprays fuel directly into the intake, but it only happens on like very cold start. So that just helps with the combustion in case maybe the injectors are asleep or something, but this helps basically. Alright, now that we've done that, we're going to disconnect these two. This is just pop off, and then we can remove this hose and put this to the side. This is okay. If we take a look around, and then we're just gonna lift. I'm just gonna lift this up, move the screws, and then we're just gonna shift it. Basically, that's what we're doing. We're just shifting it a little bit. That's all. So we don't need to disconnect anything else. We're just shifting it so that we can have access to all of these now. So now we can start the plug changing process. Let's start from this side because it's the harder side, so we can put this intake back. In case you want to see what it looks like here, here's where you have your rubber. You have your rubbers with your gum. This is basically the intake. So we're gonna disconnect the coils. Now this isn't properly tucked. A lot of things you discovered, man. I'm gonna disconnect the coils. They are literally arranged in an order that you can't miss because the wires will tell you which one goes to which. Alright, so we are now going to slacken this. They're new, so I changed them. They're still perfectly fine. So what I like to do is when I'm changing the coils, depending on how much I have, I will ensure that the coils that are on this side are the best ones, like the best of the best. On this bank, the best of the best. Why? Because it's really a hassle to change the plugs on this side. On that side it's pretty easy, but here you have to take this off, and that's a hassle. So I ensure that all the plugs, as you can see, they're all the same. I ensure that all the plugs on this side are the best, so that if I want to have issues with coils, coils, all the coils on this side are the best. So if I want to have issue with coils, it's mostly on that side and not on this side, because you won't like to come to this to start changing anything. So let's take out the second one, take out the third one. Now we're going to access the plugs that are in each of these, and for that we need 16. You're gonna need these, basically socket and gonna put that all the way in, make sure it's secure, and we're gonna get our trusty friend, our trusty spanner that's gone through a lot already, to help us slack these. This is to tighten, this is to loosen. So yeah, we're gonna loosen that. Yeah, and then you bring it out. Yeah, so this is the condition of this plug, as you can see. So if it's brown like this, it means it's firing properly, like properly. If it's brown, just like this, it means it's firing properly. I don't think this plug has any issues though. It's firing pretty well, although not really, but I think it's firing properly. But yeah, just for a change, just like to change the plugs. Let me show you what the new ones are. Yeah, this is what the new plugs look like. As you can see, it's different. The ones that are here are, you see in the naming, this is FK20 HBR11, and this one is 1KH16. Normally I'll go for these type of plugs again, but I just want them to be okay. So I can either reuse this somewhere else, but I just like to change plugs consistently though. So old and new. Now when you put in the plugs in, you want to guide them as much as you can all the way inside and not just drop them. Just guide them as much as you can and then release, because if you just do that, the plug could fall on this, and if it falls on this, it could affect the gapping if the force is too much, and that could cause misfires for you. But that's a hack though. So you do all of that, you get your Firing properly as well. Now you might ask, what's the difference? Coil, as you can see, is connected to these wires. These wires are connected to the ECU. The ECU determines how your engine would fire. So it's not all the cylinders that are firing at the same time. There's a particular order. I don't know what the order is, maybe 1, 3, 4 something, but there's an order of firing. Now in order to get that order of firing correctly, you need this. Another reason why you need this is because, as you can see, if you look in here, when you get this has the ECU sends current to the ignition coil. The ignition coil sends current to the spark plug. Once this receives current, a spark is made right here. Once the spark is made, it ignites with the air and fuel mixture that is in the cylinder, and that causes combustion, basically. Or causes a spark that pushes the piston down, and then you have the entire combustion cycle happening. So it only fires when it should. So that's why you need coil, and that's why you need plug. So sometimes your car could have an issue whereby it's the coil, which means it's bad. It's unable to deliver the appropriate current to the spark plug for you to spark properly. Or it has a lag, which means that sometimes it will send the spark, sometimes it won't. You could also have a plug issue. Maybe the plug is already bad, or it's old, or all of this is already eroding. So like this is delivering the right current for the spark, but this cannot make the right spark. So those are common causes for misfires. But yeah, okay, so now for the tightening process, we don't, as I say, you don't need too much, just a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you're good, you don't need anything more. Go back in. This goes back in. This goes back in. And we can connect immediately. This goes here, so you hear the click. And this goes, yeah. Sure, all is connected. If you don't, you're gonna have an issue, because to open these things again, just to access this, you don't want that at all. To know if it's aligned, yeah. So we can plug this back in. We can plug our switch back in. Back. That's a snug. This will go in here and connect here. Good. Alright, so we're done with that side. Again, brown is very, very good. Alright, let's tighten up. I think that we're good. Everything's stable, good to go. Alright, let's go for a test drive. Good, so we're gonna put it in sport. We're gonna put it in manual mode basically, and now we are going to downshift all the way. Going to downshift all the way. We're gonna press the car hard. Going to turn on ECT, gear 1.